that they themselves have made in international law. This is what we're checking. So, just for my conclusions and position on this, we should be aware that interested parties all over the world keep a close watch on certification activities, close and critical watch. So we must do good work in this area. The certification must not lose its credibility. In other words, we must follow international principles. We must have separate roles, avoid even the appearance of conflict of interest. Now, as I went over, and this will always be the case for most human activities, current practice leaves much to be desired in many cases. I hope we're going in the right direction, and we have been going in the right direction. And in this regard, I want to emphasize that the GSSI, which we will hear from next, may have an important role to play in securing a level playing field, so that we all have the equal opportunity to participate in this. Sound and reliable options in certification are essential. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Christian, for sharing your wisdom from your experience in developing the national certification scheme. So if you have any questions, please raise your hand. Any questions for Christian's presentation?
Thank you very much for your wonderful presentation on the Icelandic scheme. I'm Isao Sakaguchi from Gakushin University in Tokyo. I am conducting a research on seafood sustainability schemes. So may I ask you a question, just one question, about your standard setting. Is there a very specific line to say pass or fail in the assessment of the based on your scheme?
Well, in a typical certification program, there will be many documents, as Herman, next speaker, will know very well, and we've been discussing here for the past few days. So first you have the standard, that's the requirements, and then you have guidance documents and other documents. In our scheme, we are very strict on the core requirements. In other words, we have pass-fail. Other schemes have scoring. You need to get a minimum score to pass, and then you're expected to improve over time. So we've taken this approach for the main requirements that it is pass-fail. There are things that can be minor non-conformances, something like that it's called, and so those can be improved, but you have to meet the core requirements in our scheme. That's a choice for the scheme. In my opinion, if you go too low with that bar, then you don't have credibility. In my opinion, you need to basically meet the core requirements, maybe not perfectly, but you need to meet them quite well in order to there be a message in the fact that you are certified. If you allow a very low score, then the fact that somebody is certified doesn't contain very much information. It doesn't distinguish it from fisheries that are not performing well. So I think that's an issue about where you set the bar. And my concerns have been twofold here. I think sometimes the bar is set too low. More importantly, the bar is set inconsistently from one certification to another, from one certification body to another, from one type of fishery to another. That's not an easy, when you start getting into the scoring, this is not an easy thing to solve. So I'm not making light of that. But I think it's a serious concern in all of this. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, we still have time for one more question. So.
Christian, I'm asking this on behalf of everyone else, actually, from the point of view of the consumer. You made a very good point about how could a national eco-labeling scheme avoid the confusion by the consumers regarding food safety and the social aspects of that are also inherent in when they buy the product?
Well, I can tell you that, I mean, we already have, there were a few things that were very clear in the beginning. When we were negotiating and we had governments involved. One was that core issues of food safety are too important to be left to private standards and other things. That was the viewpoint at the time. So the viewpoint at the time was that government wanted to have strict rules and import requirements and other things like that. Of course, we do have food safety certification today, and that's a separate program. And I'm not saying it's less important, I'm just saying it requires, it's very different. It has to do with the companies and the processes within the companies, whereas fisheries management has more to do with government and how government manages fisheries. So there's a natural reason for having them in separate programs. Plus, the guidelines are about having a separate program for this kind of thing. But I can tell you that what's happening today, and I think many people will know this, is that there is a demand for certification about decent working conditions aboard fishing vessels, for example. And that is being dealt with. There are initiatives already underway to deal with this in separate programs. One or more. We'll see how that develops. That's not, of course, not up to me to decide. so that's something that is happening. So thank you for your question.
Thank you, Christian. Now we would like to invite our next